Everyone told us that Poland would be way less expensive than Denmark. And that makes sense, and that was what we were expecting. But after a full month in each country, tracking every dollar, the final numbers weren't that far apart. So today we're breaking it all down. Housing, food, transportation, even dentist visits. And we're looking at what it really costs to live in Denmark for a month versus Poland for a month. Let's get at it and break this down. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here today. We're Deane and Lisa, and we're full-time travelers. So what that means to us is we slow travel. We spend about 30 days in one particular country or city, and then we move on to another location. While we're there, we rent accommodations, we do our grocery shopping, we carry on daily life and try to just live like locals. So we're not luxury travelers, but we're also not backpackers on a shoestring. We're just kind of somewhere in the middle, watching our budget and trying to enjoy life at this stage and see the world. Okay, let's do a quick rundown of Denmark, where we were previously, and show you what the expenses were while we were there. I also have a full video with the complete breakdown, so after this video, you can take a look at that to get a more complete picture. I have my little notes here in front of me, so I might glance down from time to time. So here's a recap for Denmark. Housing was $16.50. Groceries $4.62 for the month. Eating out came in at $101, and that was eating out once and a few bakery runs. Transportation came in at $190. Entertainment at $149. And our miscellaneous bucket came in at $77. This gave us a total of $26.29. And I was really quite surprised that the total number for a month-long stay in Denmark was this low. I was expecting it to be much closer to about $4,000. Okay, so now we'll do a super quick rundown of our expenses in Poland. Don't worry, at the end I'm going to put up a graphic that shows Denmark and Poland side by side so you can see where the differences came in and you can see the totals. Okay, for housing in Gdansk, Poland, we came in at $1,200. Groceries came in at $374 for the month. Eating out, this is kind of funny, eating out came in at $159 versus $101 in Denmark. But here's the thing. In Denmark, we ate out only once and enjoyed some pastries along the way when we would be out and about doing things. In Poland, we ate out 6 times versus once in Denmark, and we were really very happy with our eating out. One meal was a little bit fancy-ish, and the other 5 were in what's called a milk bar in Poland. This is kind of a cafeteria style, and a lot of times the menu is quite limited. They offer really awesome, typical Polish food, no frills, and it was so fun and wonderful to try. But that came in at, I don't know, $8 to $12 per meal per person, where in Denmark, you were looking at least $20 per person and up per meal. So we took advantage of that and ate out more in Poland than we did in Denmark. Transportation, $83. Entertainment in Poland came in at $92. And here's where I'll provide you with a little bit better explanation. Our miscellaneous bucket came in at $517 in Poland. The month-long total in Poland came in at $2,425 versus $26.29 in Denmark. Not really a huge difference, right? Well, let's get into what the differences were and what this means to you trying to budget your travel plans. Okay, so let's get into some of the variables here. What were the differences? Why did things shake out the way that they did? And I think this is kind of where the value in this video comes from. We can talk about numbers, and yes, absolutely, the numbers have to be looked at if you're going to stay within a budget, but there are always variables that come into play that you may or may not see coming and you may want to take advantage of, but you didn't expect them. The most expensive variable for Poland that we put in the miscellaneous bucket were dental appointments. We both had dental appointments where we had a checkup and we had teeth cleaning. Each of those appointments, for one for Dean and one for me, came in at around $200. Dean's was a little higher because he had an x-ray. Mine was a little lower, but evened out to be $200 each. And the reason that we chose Poland to have our teeth cleaned was because Poland does give world-class service for dental and medical at a much lower price than Denmark, for example. And the thing that I really love about Poland, and this may be true in other areas, but you walk in and they basically have menus. So they provide you with information and they break it down into menu groups. So for cleaning, they tell you what all is involved: cleaning, polishing, fluoride treatment. If you go to, let's say, like a woman's checkup, they'll tell you you get a mammogram, a pap smear, whatever it is, and then it's like a menu. Those 4 items cost this much. If you take the next package, you'll get these 6 items, and that's what this will cost you. And I just love it because you know what you're going to get and you know what the price is. Very straightforward, very professional, and we were very happy with our service. So right there's $400 difference between Poland and Denmark. And was that because one country is less expensive than the other? No, it's just it was time to get our teeth cleaned, and we knew we would get great service and great treatment for our teeth, so we chose to go with that in Poland. The next variable on the list are those little splurges. Because we travel full time, we only have X amount of space in our suitcase, we only have X amount of weight, and so we're not shoppers. If I were going to these places for a vacation, there would be lots of things that I would love to buy to bring home to the United States. Since that's not really our situation anymore, we don't do a lot of shopping for souvenirs or tchotchkes or gifts for people. We just don't have the weight availability and the room in our suitcases. But in this particular instance in Poland, we visited the Amber Museum, which was phenomenal. And it was about a month before my birthday. And I have to admit, I fell in love with the idea of having some amber jewelry. So for a nice little surprise and a nice splurge, I got amber earrings and an amber necklace that really don't weigh anything. I can take them with me wherever I want. And I have a really great memory of being in Poland. That splurge was $106 that we didn't have really anything like that in Denmark. The next variable, let's just call the apartment situation. The flat that we had in Denmark was very quiet, very spacious, and very accommodating, easy to cook in, had lots of nice cooking equipment in the kitchen, and was very favorable for us to get work done. The apartment in Gdansk was a whole different story, and I have a video on that as well if you'd like to see what I'm talking about. It was, let's just say, very lively and very noisy, quite small, and the construction noise was 7 days a week from 8 in the morning until 8 at night. It made us kind of question our sanity from time to time, and there were many instances where we really felt like we had to get out of there and just get away from that environment. So while that part was not our favorite, it did help us get out and see the Maritime Museum, the Amber Museum, the old town of Gdansk, which is lovely, and with the per meal price being a little bit cheaper in Gdansk than it was in Poland, and to get away from the apartment, we also spent a bit more on eating out. Let's take a look at the complete side-by-side comparison. Housing, transportation, and groceries were less expensive in Poland. But when you factor in the dentist and the early birthday present splurge, the cost of the two cities and two countries got a lot closer than what we thought. So while yes, Poland came out a little bit less expensive than Denmark, it wasn't by a lot. So yes, Poland is more affordable than Denmark. But the real takeaway isn't always clear in the numbers. Cost of living isn't as concrete as what could you get the numbers down to. It's more about how you live and what happens in that month. All the little real life variables that come into play, and you may or may not have allocated space for that in your budget. Full-time, long-term travel is kind of a work in progress, kind of a learning experience. Every place you go and every situation kind of has its own little nuances and quirks. Things that we absolutely thought we had to have and then find out we don't use them very much at all. I am perfectly fine with cooking most of our meals. That doesn't bother me one bit. Some people, that would really not be their thing. They want to go out and enjoy eating out. So it's a learning process and kind of getting to know what you value and what are your deal breakers. The best part is we get to go to different places, meet new people, live like locals, and experience the culture of that country for 30 days at a time. And while we're doing it, we continually balance our budget and shuffle things around. It's just how we're doing it, and it really seems to work out fine. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give us a like. And if you're exploring the possibility of traveling full-time, please subscribe to our channel for more Unextreme Adventures, where we'll break down our monthly budgets and show you where we are in the world and spill all the beans on what it's like to actually travel full-time. I'm so happy you could be here today, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.